You're going on Erasmus to Portugal and don't know where to start? Don't worry. I'm Morgan from Erasmus Play, and in this video I'll give you the ultimate guide to survive to your Erasmus in Portugal. From how to adapt to university life to tips on accommodation. Let's go. Adapting to university life in Portugal may seem challenging at first. But the first thing you should know is that the university environment is very welcoming. Lecturers are usually approachable and willing to help, although you are expected to show interest and responsibility. Classes can be theoretical or practical, depending on your degree. And attendance is always recommended, because in some cases it can influence your final grade. In addition, participating in class will help you integrate and improve your understanding of the language if the classes are not in English. An important detail: in Portugal, a lot of weight is given to written assignments and presentations, so we advise you to get organized at the beginning of the semester. And if you don't speak Portuguese, don't worry. In many universities, you will find courses in English, and always you will find classmates willing to help you. Finally, don't forget to take advantage of the resources on campus. Library, university canteens, which are quite cheap, sport facilities or even study areas. The more you participate, the easiest it will be to integrate to your new life in Portugal. Moving on to the Portuguese culture, and we're going to talk about holidays. Around February or March, you have Carnival, although it is not an official holiday throughout the country. Carnival is one of the most colorful and eagerly awaited festivals around the country. It is celebrated in February or March, depending on the liturgical calendar. The cities of Torres Vedras, Ovar, and Funchal stand out for their parades with floats, extravagant costumes, dance troupes, and music in the street. It's a perfect festival for having fun, dressing up, and getting to know the most joyful part of the Portuguese culture. On the 25th of April is Freedom Day. This day commemorates the Carnation Revolution in 1974, which ended the dictatorship in Portugal without violence. It's a very symbolic date for Portuguese because it represents freedom, democracy, and also civil rights. It is celebrated with parades, speeches, cultural activities, and also concerts in many cities around the country. It is very typical to see red carnations around the city, which is the symbol of the revolution. On the 10th of June is Portugal Day, also known as Camões Day, in honor of the poet Luís de Camões. This day celebrates national pride, Portuguese language, and the country's history. Official ceremonies are held in the presence of the President of the Republic, but you will also find many cultural events and, on occasions, international celebrations at Portuguese embassies and consulates abroad. And finally, in May, you have the most important festival for students, Queima das Fitas, in cities such as Coimbra, Porto or Lisbon. It marks the end of the academic year, especially for students who are finishing their degrees. For a week, there are concerts, parades, and rituals such as burning the ribbons, the fitas, representing each faculty. And of course, a very festive atmosphere that fills the entire city. It's a unique experience that combines tradition, student pride, and a lot of partying. In general, Portugal is a very welcoming and peaceful country with strong traditions. One of the most important customs is punctuality. The Portuguese tend to be quite strict about schedule, especially in academic or professional settings. Even so, social life has a relaxed and friendly atmosphere. Also, courtesy is highly valued. Greeting people when entering a shop, saying thank you and asking for things politely are essentials in everyday life. When it comes to eating, lunch is usually served between 12:30 and 2, and dinner rarely goes past 9. In addition, coffee time is also sacred, especially espresso, or also called bica, which is drunk quickly and frequently throughout the day. Another deeply rooted custom is street life. Strolling, sitting on terraces, going to the market, or going to the most traditional neighborhood to listen to fado. In everyday life, you will notice that Portuguese people usually enjoy small things of life. such as reading the newspaper at a cafe, buying bread at the local bakery, or sharing a beer with friends at the end of the day. Portugal is a country steeped in history, traditions, and cultural details you probably don't know. For example, did you know that Portugal is the oldest country in Europe with its actual borders? It was founded in 1143 and its territory has remained unchanged since then. Another interesting fact is that the Portuguese are important fish eaters. They are the world's largest consumer of cod, even though they do not fish it locally. It is said that they have more than 365 recipes with cod. It is also interesting to note that the famous pastel de nata, one of the country's most famous desserts, was invented by the monks in the 19th century in the Jerónimos monastery. Today you can find it in almost every bakery, but the most famous is still in Lisbon, in Belém. Also, one of the most emotive musical styles was born in Portugal. It's called the fado, a melancholic genre that reflects saudade, that nostalgic feeling so characteristical of Portugal. Finally, we can say that Portugal has a special fondness for azulejos, which decorates churches, train stations, facades, and even interior of houses. They are not only an aesthetic symbol, they also tell stories and depict traditional scenes. When you do your Erasmus in Portugal, one of the most important tasks you will have to do is find accommodation. Fortunately, there are different accommodation options that suits all budgets. For example, you can rent a room in a shared flat. I'm not gonna lie, this is the most famous option for Erasmus students. It is ideal if you want to save money and socialize. In cities such as Lisbon or Porto, the average cost is around 300 to 500 euros a month. While in smaller cities, it can be between 200 to 350 euros a month. Another option is student residences. They are usually managed by the universities themselves or by entities such as the SAS. They are more economical but have limited places, and Portuguese students themselves tend to have the preference. Another option, private residences. These are usually more modern with services such as cleaning and also common areas. Prices usually range between 400 to 600 euros a month. And finally, you can also rent a private studio or a flat. That's an option if you prefer complete independence. You can rent a studio just for yourself. This option is more expensive and only recommended if you have a higher budget. In Lisbon and Porto, a studio usually costs between 600 to 800 euros a month. In general, we can say that Portugal is an affordable country. In fact, it is one of the most affordable Erasmus destinations in Western Europe, making it a perfect choice if you want to have a great experience without wasting too much money. For your budget, you should know that accommodation is usually the highest expense. As for food, you can spend between 120 and 200 euros a month, especially if you shop at supermarkets such as Pingo Doce, Continente, or even Lidl. Eating out is also quite affordable. Many set menus cost around 6 to 10 euros. Public transport is also quite cheap and many cities use transport cards. You can have one for about 20–30 euros. In total, the monthly budget for an Erasmus in Portugal is around 600 to 900 euros a month, depending on your preferences and on your lifestyle. With regard to financial aid, all Erasmus Plus students can receive the Erasmus grant, the amount of which depends on their country of origin. Finally, my last piece of advice. Don't be afraid to throw yourself into new experiences and make the most out of them. Erasmus is not only an academic opportunity, but life experience. And that's it for today's video. From Erasmus Play, we hope this video was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell to be advised when we post a new video. We also leave you all social media in the description box. And see you very soon with new videos. Bye bye, assistant.